So it sounds far-fetched, but it's happening right now. And it's a real practical business with real practical revenues and a real practical diamond in Martin's ear. The final speaker in this session is going to propose to you a bit of technology that is remarkably accessible, that you can actually take home. So I was walking along St. Catherine just before Christmas and happened upon a store called Self-Traits. I inquired inside and I learned that this is a new company that takes, I think, the technology that comes from motion capture, kind of thing they use in creating video games, adapts it, and creates a sphere loaded with cameras. The one I stepped into had 140 cameras. The one upstairs has apparently 100 cameras. One exposure, boom, 140 shots or 100 shots taking at one moment. All of that, different angles, above, below, behind, fed into a computer. A single amount of data is generated, and then this is printed 3D. Additive printing process. It's really quite amazing. And because of it, I was motivated to call the guy who runs the company, Steve Cory. We had a great chat, great rapport. He agreed to get involved in IdeaCity 2016.
Thank you.
And he's here to tell us about 3D printing and how you can get one of your very own.
Well, thank you, Moses. So my name is Steve, and my team and I, we're part of the 3D printing revolution. Now, I think you're all familiar with 3D printing technology. We use additive manufacturing, and we build physical products by putting down successive layers of material, one on top of the other. There's lots of ways to do this, and I could stand here, I could talk for hours about machines and materials and processes, but this is not a technical presentation. What I'm going to show you really is why we think 3D printing is awesome. So at Objects Unlimited here in Toronto, we've made tens of thousands of 3D printed parts for our customers all over the world. And we do some serious industrial prototyping, but our team's pretty artistic, and we love to play. So when our machines aren't making parts for our customers, we make parts for ourselves. And we have some of the best toys in the world. So today, I'm going to try to set your mind on fire and show you some of the things that we can do with 3D printing. So a little while ago, I saw a video of Stevie Wonder playing a 3D printed ukulele. I thought to myself, oh, I should have one of those. So I went online, I downloaded a 3D model, I put it on the 3D printer. It took about 10 minutes till it got started. That was a Sunday night, and by Tuesday morning, I was playing a 3D printed ukulele. Amazing. But we like to take things a little bit further. So we were inspired by Randy Rhoads and his Flying V electric polka dot guitar, and we thought that we'd make a Flying V ukulele in the shape of our company logo. So we did, because we can. So it took about 3 days to design and build this instrument. It's got integrated electronics. We've got some cool laser-cut flames on it, and we even made custom picks. Now, this is the only one of its kind in the world. But if I want another one, I can make it tomorrow, because 3D printing is awesome. You do need to remember, though, that a 3D printer is a tool. It's like an instrument in that it takes what input it's given and puts out something based on its limitations. And to make an outstanding 3D print, you need outstanding 3D designs. Now, in our office, we call our digital sculptors Team Awesome, because they are, and a lot of them are here today. The tools that we have digitally are unbelievable. When you're sculpting physically, you may have the ability to cut and paste, but you certainly don't have the ability to copy. You can't scale with a click. You don't have the ability to use save as. And of course, our favorite is undo. Having these tools gives us limitless possibilities in what we can do and what we can try. Now, Team Awesome, they can take a few photographs of an animal and draw a lifelike 3D sculpture. And they're really good. In fact, they're so good. They're so good that they make people cry. And we see it constantly when we deliver models of pets to people. It's absolutely, absolutely amazing. Now you have to remember, though, this is an artistic exercise. And we use pictures for reference, and it's the skill of the artist that make the magic happen. And it's much, much more difficult to do with people. When something is almost but not quite like the human form, it can create a sense of uneasiness or creepiness. It's known as Uncanny Valley. And the Polar Express movie is probably the greatest example of that. I can tell you firsthand that Uncanny Valley is a real thing, and it especially happens as you get closer to life size. At April Fool's Day last year, this was sitting at my desk. So I walked into my office and I said, good morning, and I looked up and I went, oh, geez. So we have a lot of fun around our place, but this is a typical example of something that's in Uncanny Valley, and it's creepy. The eye color's not right, the skin tone's not right. It was one of our early experiments. Now, a method of 3D scanning, one of the ones that we use, is called photogrammetry. And this is where you take a large number of pictures from different angles, you find overlapping points, and you stitch them together to make a 3D printed model. When you're doing something like a statue or a building, it's actually possible with a single camera to take a whole lot of pictures and make a pretty reasonable 3D model. It's not easy, but you can do it. However, when motion's involved, you can't do it with a single camera. You need a number of them, as you may have seen out front. Our challenge in capturing people and scanning people is we want to do it instantaneously so that we can capture motion and emotion. Otherwise, everybody kind of stands still and looks very robotic. Now, we looked on the market for a product that would meet our needs because we are a 3D printing company, so we have the equipment to 3D print, but to scan, it didn't exist, so we built it. Now, our studio scanner at Self-Trades on Queen West here in Toronto, we use 135, or as Moses said, 140, depends on the day, DSLR cameras, and they all fire at the same millisecond. So you can jump in the air, you can move, you can go quickly, and we'll capture it. This was a surprise wedding proposal that happened inside of our 3D scanning booth. And we captured this in real time. This is not a reenactment. In real time with something that's so much more than a photograph. It's truly incredible. So we do quite a lot of these kind of scans, and everybody that's here today at IdeaCity 2016 has the opportunity to get 3D scanned. We have a booth here. I'm told that already this morning we've scanned 150 people, which is fantastic. The target I set was 1,000 for this event, so we're going to try and hit that. I will warn you, though, it's 360 degrees, and there is nowhere to hide. So we do very commonly get requests for digital plastic surgery, which we can do. And it's actually great. So Moses came to our studio at Self-Trades on Tuesday last week for a little bit of a scanning session. We got some great photographs. You may have seen this model sitting out front inside. Now, what I didn't tell him, or maybe I might have alluded to, is that when Team Awesome, our digital sculptors, get hold of a model, we can do some pretty funky things with it. So we thought we'd have a little bit of fun at the expense of Moses, who has a great sense of humor. Daria, can you give me a hand here and bring out some stuff? Caesar Moses here. Then we got a little bit crazier. Where'd that go? Oh, sorry. Sorry, can you go back to that last slide there? Yeah, just give me one second here. And Moses, I know you asked me not to, but I couldn't resist. Who knew Moses in '82? Did he have this haircut? So we did, of course, a couple classic things, and now, Daria, if you wouldn't mind, we did make a couple things for you, Moses, a little different than the smaller ones. Pretty incredible. Now, we had some comments earlier today about why the Roman statue doesn't have glasses. Who knows why? They didn't have glasses. So we wanted to be true to reality. That is what we do. So these are for you, and thank you for everything.
That's so amazing.
Very impressive.
I want to say, until really this moment in history, you had to be a monarch. You had to be a grandee to get yourself preserved for eternity. Only a very tiny number of people in society could afford to have the great artists come in and paint their portrait, let alone to create a statue for them. And in preparation for this presentation, I went looking for a sculptor here in Toronto who might do a bust of me, just to see what might be involved and what the cost might be involved. And got a quote quite recently for $50,000. And that would be a reasonable price to pay for the level of art that goes into creating something that looks like this, but could never approach this degree of detail. We would get the artist's interpretation, of course, and that too would be worthwhile, but this is nothing short of astonishing. And I have to thank you, Steve, for this epic gift. Yeah.
Let's get him over here with your bus.
My different heads.
Would you pick up
Yeah, what are we doing?
Got a photo?
We're going to do
Sure, okay.
this is funny. Hold that little guy up.
Do you remember that movie, Bring Me the Head of...
That's funny.
So,
Excellent.
Steve, I
Thank
hope I
you for the
didn't interrupt
opportunity.
your...
No, I'm done, but I want to say thank you, and it's a great honor to show everybody here some of the cool things we're working on, because 3D printing is awesome.
You are making a particular offer to the people in this room, are you not?
We are.
Yeah. So I walked in off the street, ordered a couple of these things. I think they came to about $150. It was just the holiday season, so it took about 2 or 3 weeks until we got delivery. Steve has agreed for everybody in this room, if you want one of these things, it'll take you literally a second. You step into that enclosure, boom, that's it. You get 3 shots, you pick the one that you like, and a couple weeks from now, you'll receive yours at a highly advantageous price.
It's under $100.
Under $100
Of you.
bucks.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could not have one. I don't know how you cannot have one for every person in your family. And all the pets as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Steve, we're going to go get Frank.
I love that.